Hello, everyone. You're watching OBN Horn of Africa. This is Talk to OBN, our weekly program. In this edition, we'll be discussing about the role of women in peace-building process in Ethiopia, as well as women empowerment, gender equality, women rights, and the role of civic societies in Ethiopia. My guest today is Saba Gabramadin, Executive Director of the Network of Ethiopian Women Association. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Addis, for having me.
Tell me about your organization.
Newa, the Network of Ethiopian Women Association, is a local national level consortium. It means it has different women organizations, and it's established by the initiation of women organizations in Ethiopia. What was established in 2003, and it was established to create a common voice. As you know, there are diverse organizations working on different issues on their own. Would be legal support to women's economic empowerment, women access to education or health, but they wanted to have a common voice, and that's how Newa became to be established. Since her establishment, Newa has been working on gender equality and women's rights, especially focusing on advocacy as a main strategy of the organization, and building the capacity of our members, basically women organizations and NGOs, women associations in different regions, and networking with different actors, including government, non-government, as well as at national and regional and continental level. Beyond that, we also do monitoring government compliance to its commitment, meaning through assessments, research, and dialogues. We try to look at, as you know, we have different international commitments that the government has signed, and as well as national level commitments. Government has made a lot of commitments in terms of gender equality, women's rights in this country, starting from the constitution and those human rights instruments that are made part of the country's law, and of course different policies. So we try to look at assessments through assessments and research to monitor these commitments, and these are the major strategic objectives that Newa has been implementing since her establishment. At the moment, we have around 35 organizations as members.
Your association is mandated to work in the areas of women's rights and gender equality and women's empowerment. Can you just tell us, workers that have been undergone so far in these areas?
Yeah, as Newa, we don't implement work at grassroots level because we have our members in different areas that are doing that. But basically, women's political empowerment, regarding women's political empowerment, for example, we have been working on both advocating, lobbying for more spaces in the in the women's political participation in decision making, through building capacity of women candidates of different parties, starting from the earliest national elections that had undergone in Ethiopia. We have been undertaking training during election time and beyond, for political party members, women political candidates. And in this regard, we have also participated in the last election. We have trained women in all both ruling as well as opposition parties. And we have also tried to create some kind of support for political parties so that they create more spaces for women within their within their parties. And beyond the election, we are working with parliamentary members as well as party members. Again, even before the other election caps, we are trying to create a space that will help women to be part of it. In terms of economic empowerment, of course, we as you know, we don't, as I said, we don't directly implement those programs, but we support women organizations in in different parts of the country to create economic support through IGA, saving and credit, and trainings for women And also we focus on, ensuring that the development plans in this country really address women's interest. When we talk about development, it should be that it should be able to unleash women's potential in participating as well as benefiting in these processes. So we try to engage them in this process as well as provide recommendations for the government and in social services as well. During the last few years, we have tried to create support for women organizations to provide services and ensure that whatever maternal health as well as family planning services and other women-focused programs or women needs are really included into the health policies, health services. And we have in different, whether it's political, whether it's economic, for Newa, it has been more of, especially when it comes to major agendas of women, like gender-based violence. It has been ensuring that the agenda is at the top of a priority for the country, and both during atrocities that happen in this country, as well as even during other times, including 60 days of activism. And the full year, we try to do campaigns with campaign group against gender-based violence, and we have been very successful in that regard. Of course, there is high prevalence during conflict and other times, but we try to make this agenda at the top of people's agendas, NGOs agendas, as well as governments agendas. And lately, as you know, we have some crisis in terms of conflict and caused by natural causes, humanitarian crisis in different parts. So we see that conflict or other types of humanitarian crisis affect women more. So we try to bring attention to humanitarian actors to give focus to this agenda, as well as we have been making statements in terms of protection of women during conflict times from sexual violence as well as other types of conflict-related atrocities and harms that is really that women are waging, that is being waged on against women. And this is among the major agendas for women for Newa at this point in time, as well as for others.
What makes civic association distinct from other stake actors?
What I can say about civil society is, of course, civil societies can have the different forms in their form of establishment, even beyond the legal formality that our laws provide. But their peculiarity, I would say, is they work for the society. They speak on behalf of the society. And they also create support for the society. And yes, government entities or other actors also do that. But as a civil society, their peculiar should be their independence, both from the states as well as from other entities. We always say we're non-partisan. It doesn't mean that our agendas are not political. We have our agenda. Women empowerment is a political agenda. But partisan means that you are supporting one party or the other. So we're non-partisans, we're non-political, and we need to ensure that we're independent always. If we don't do that, then there will not be trust by our societies. There will not be trust even by governments, by other political entities, even by other social actors. So our main a difference would be that independence and also being constant in terms of and having constituency, whether, for example, if it is an association of professionals, the membership would be professional association or teachers association or lawyers association, but at the same time also it can have what the people that that the organization serves to. If it's women, then our constituency is women. So we need to be very true to the cause and interests of our constituencies. We used to be said that it's non-profit, yeah, but it is none. It's sometimes we can create profits, for example, income generates for the organization. Now the law allows that, but that income generation is not to build capital for yourself, but the capital is supposed to be used for programs, for the third actors, for the third party, or for the people you stand for. So that makes that peculiar in terms of it is not for our own interests, but it is for the people we stand for the public, for the women, for people with disabilities, for children, and for the professional association, or for anyone that we are established for. Then we need to be true to our cause. So if we really play our role properly as a civil society that is independent, that is vocal, that is, stands on certain principles as a civil society, we should have certain values and principles that we just don't do things because like an individual or like a family or like a state actor or like a political party. So those principles that make us who we are, then if we stand for those and if we stay put on those principles, then we regain that respect, and that is at the same time also being listened and having that adequate space within the society, within the structures, government or whatever. So I think that is very important for civil society to be worthy of our trustworthy for our constituencies, for the cause we stand, and at the same time to be independent of other influences. I have to say that, of course, we may have similar, for example, at one point, your idea of the organization might be similar with what the government say. That doesn't mean we're being government supportive or we're not being political party supportive, but your core value is your constituency, and at the same time, where you see that it affects the interest of your group or of your sector, then you have to speak up, and that will make you strong and trustworthy for your constituency as well as for the other actors.
The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission is working to bring lasting peace in Ethiopia, mainly to create consensus and reconciliation among nations. As executive director of the network of Ethiopian Women Association, what is your role in this dialogue?
Yes, I believe the national dialogue is, as you say, one mechanism for peace building and for creating consensus and for at least having similar kind of level of engagement and conducive environment for people's engagement in this country. And Newa has been working in different arenas of peace and conflict resolution and different things. One of the things we have been doing is building the Ethiopian women peace builders in Ethiopia and engaging with international and regional actors as well in support of the Women and Peace and Security Agenda, WPS, that was signed by Ethiopia, the resolution 1325. And even though we don't have a national action plan yet as a country, we need to bring women's participation into this space. And that's why we're trying to create different, like Ethiopian Women Peace Builders and different trainings for women. And the national dialogue, when the national dialogue came, as you say, as you know, that there are commissioners that were appointed to this commission as commissioners. And during that time, we started with women organizations, other like Timran, Eula, and others. We started to engage in saying we need to have at least a good number of women within this commissioner. So we started to lobby for women to come to the commissioner side, and as well as for government to have at least 50% of women within this commission position. But that didn't happen, and we only had 3 women position among the 11 commissioners that was appointed at the time. So what we said was we need to continue engaging beyond, even though we were disappointed, we said we have to continue engaging. So Timran, one of our Newa members, brought us together and we talked about creating a coalition for women's voice within the national dialogue. And that's around 54 organizations became member of this coalition. And we established a steering committee that Newa and Women Lawyers Association are co-chairing. And Timran is serving as a secretary. So what we do exactly, we went to the commissioners and we told them that we want to engage in this process because we don't want women's voices to be left out, and we need to ensure that. One way of doing that would be, of course, monitoring what the National Dialogue Commission is doing and giving inputs towards that. But also we wanted to create a space for women in different parts of the country, in rural, urban, where women come together and speak about their national agendas or about the agendas they wanted to be raised as a priority for the country. So we established, we trained the women organizations, and we brought facilitators, more than 100 women organizations, and we trained them on facilitation. And now they're doing different trainings about national dialogue and about the agendas for women, and women are discussing in different waradas about their priorities. And we work very closely with the National Dialogue Commission, and we are really doing the work of the National Dialogue Commission, and we are supporting and complementing that. We have been undertaking a Coffee for Peace program, which is very interesting one because women at the community are actually engaging in peace issues about their communities in conflict areas even. And even across borders, regional borders, women are sitting down together and discussing about these agendas and bringing it to the regional authorities, to the national level dialogues. And I have to say that if we give them the space and the opportunity, women can really make a good, strong conveners of peace building agendas, and as well as the national agendas.
Worldwide, only 26.5% of parliamentarians are women, showing significant gaps in representation of women's voice in civic and political sphere. How do you rate experience of Ethiopia in terms of women's role in political affairs these days?
There should be an institutional mechanism that will bring women into the front, and that would be our election law should put a minimal quota for political parties. Why we said that was it shouldn't be subject to political parties' decision, but it should be a decision as a country. We shouldn't leave it to the country, to the parties only, but the country should commit to gender equality, and the country has committed to gender equality as I did through the different laws and the constitution as well. So if we really want to see the result, then we need to have the law had to say that, because that is the only way women will come to the election, at least process, is through political parties. We had tried to work with individual candidates before, independent candidates who wanted to come to election. We had tried to build capacity for independent candidates, but usually the party politics overtakes, and usually independent candidates don't have that chance to get there. So the only way is to have women being involved within the political parties when they come to the bigger party. So even though now we have around 40% of women participating in the parliament, that maybe have come because of the Prosperity Party gained most of the seats, and it has also a large number of women who had come as candidates of the Prosperity Party. But this should be for everyone, for all political parties. It should be there, and it should be used by all parties, whether it's 10%, whether it's 20%, all parties should bring that. But when you go to executive again, there was a time when we have 50%, the government committed for 50% of women to be part of the cabinet. And I think that is a great move by the government, a bigger political commitment that was displayed. But we didn't continue, we didn't sustain that number up to now. When women, one way or another, women ministers leave, they were not replaced, or at least it was not, there was no effort to keep that number, the 50% quota. And so we have, I think, around 36% at this point in time since the last election, and the new promotion or appointment that the government didn't try to keep the 50% quota with the executive. And I think this has to go in all arenas of the government or the public sphere. And it has to start as well from mid-level appointment to the higher level, to the small level. Everywhere, women participation has to be ensured.
How about your engagement with international civic societies, civic associations? For instance, in last September, you have been to South Korea to participate on International Women's Peace Group. And can you tell us the Newa's engagement in international podiums and lessons gained and curtailed to your context?
Yes, Newa has been engaged in the IWPG International Women Peace Group way before. Actually, we started, I remember before maybe 6 years or maybe 4 years, we had a peace rally in Ethiopia with the support of IWPG, because IWPG had this International Women Peace Day that they celebrate, that all women peace groups in different parts of the country, of the world, they celebrate. IWPG is an international peace group, women peace group that is established and work in Korea, and they are very keen to have this agenda in all the countries and to have a global action against conflict, and for peace to be promoted and for women to be protected from conflict actions. So we have been engaging with IWPG so far, and similarly have been engaged in different arenas, like have been participating in the high level platform for the review of SDGs before a year and a half, and that's where I represented women from Ethiopian women organizations and civil society to present on the issue of the importance of prioritizing girls' and women's agenda in any humanitarian, in any economic and political agenda, especially within the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And I was also engaged in Belgium, in Geneva, for the humanitarian platforms, where we have been asking for more humanitarian support to the country, especially in any humanitarian programs to have a gender sensitive and gender responsive, because women and children are more affected in these processes. We also have regional networks like Strategic Initiative for the Horn Africa. It is a collection of women organizations from the Horn, like Ethiopia, Somali, Sudan, South Sudan, Uganda, and Djibouti, Eritrea. This is a good platform, because most of the countries we are in a similar situation in terms of economic challenges, climate challenges, as well as conflict and women issues. So I serve there now I serve as advisory to the board, but also my organization is also a member of this strategic initiative. So we have different regional, continental, and global platforms, like Gender is My Agenda is a continental platform that usually convenes during the time of the African Union Summit, just before that. So those GMAC platforms helps us as African women to bring, for example, like Maputo Protocol and other laws, as well as implementation of these policies and laws in Africa. And because as Africans, as African women, we also have a different agendas from the rest of the world. So we also have that solidarity and togetherness to come together, share experiences, but at the same time also flag out those agendas to the higher body like the AU and similar, the IGAD and other actors.
And in some countries, again, women especially and religious fathers played a significant role in bringing lasting peace. What would Newa grab from this?
Yes, they can play a major role, and most of the work, especially with regard to women's to harmful cultural practices, to social norms that are really, of course, social norms are something that we really value because they keep us as a society, they keep us as a community together. But at the same time, we know that there are harmful social norms that affect women rights, women well-being. So in this regard, though, even though there has been a lot of change in the legal provisions and law revisions, policy enactments, but social norms are owned and by the society and by those leaders that you spoke about, religious leaders, elders, and others or that have given good position within our society that we consider beyond the formal government structure. These are structures that people consider as leaders or consider as a certain governing them in one way or another. So we need to change those structures, and we need to bring those structures on board if we want to change the norms or the discrimination or the patriarchy or any kind of system that is a barrier to our equality or protection of women's rights. So in this respect, I think we have been working both Newa and women organizations in different parts of the country as their main actors, as their main supporters. Those leaders of the community, elders, religious leaders have been very active, actively engaging in addressing those social numbers. For example, FGM in some areas is considered as a religious thing, used to be considered as a religious value, but religious leaders have come out and spoke about these things, and that has helped the community to stop female genital mutilation. And also in some areas, as you said, they have played a good role in building, conducive family situation, like domestic violence or violence against women to be not a norm or to be a kind of sin. So religious using their religious system, they have been again promoting. But this is not everywhere, and sometimes we have to be very careful. Those things, those institutions may again reactivate the discriminatory social norms. So that's why we need to change them in terms of, or aware them, sensitize them so that they become very active, but in a good way to work towards the positive thing. So the cultural peace building mechanisms in Ethiopia has really been upheld as a good mechanisms, but we have to also, review if there are any discriminatory mechanisms. For example, if they don't include women through this traditional cultural peace building mechanisms that are very good. But if we don't bring women as part of this process, or if they are discriminating women, then it may have a negative impact. So we need to be very careful. But if we sensitize and aware them about these agendas, and then use them to the level that can influence not only at community level, like in our countries, usually we use them at Kabale or at the Warada level, but we have to revisit them in a way that can help to the national level peace agendas as well. That's what I think, in my opinion.
Saba Gabramadin, Executive Director of the Network of Ethiopian Women's Association, Newa. Thank you for your expertise and thank you for your precious time.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, this is what we have for today. See you next time with another edition. Bye-bye.